Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Rentz here, host of the Raiders Report, and today's show is presented by Panda Sups. If you want to get into the best shape of your life, use code Raiders for 20% off at pandasups.com. That link's going to be available to you all down in the comments, down in the description. I recommend trying their new protein, cinnamon toast, and then also their mint chocolate chip ice cream. It's insane. Actual chunks of cinnamon toast crunch in it, and then also chunks of mint chocolate chip. It is blow your mind good. So coming up here on the Raiders Report, the Las Vegas Raiders are interested in trading up to the number one pick. Plus, I'm going to go through history. And if you're a history buff, you're going to love this show because Tom Telesco's history says he wants a big-name quarterback, and he's not afraid to get aggressive with it. But since we've been talking so much about the number one pick, and I know that for me, I believe if the Raiders traded up to number one, they would take Jayden Daniels. However, this show is not about that. It's about every single person that takes time out of their day to watch the show, to be a part of the Noti Gang, that hits that subscribe button, that clicks that like button. So I want to know from all of our live viewers, if the number one pick, the Raiders traded up for it, you're sitting down right now with Antonio Pierce, Tom Telesco, who would you pick? Would you go with Caleb Williams, type CW, Drake May, DM, Jayden Daniels, JD, or would you go with somebody else? I can't wait to see what these answers are down below. So the latest going on right now around the Raiders potentially trading up to number one was, I reported this during NFL Media Week, during the Super Bowl, and I know I wasn't able to do as many shows that week. However, put it out on a short, was able to tweet it out as well, at MitchellRentz365. I said there was a lot of chatter, and from what I heard at the media day was that the Raiders are interested in the number one overall pick. The Las Vegas Review-Journal, they also reported, I want to say a few days ago, that the Raiders were interested in the number one pick. And the Raiders know it's not going to be cheap. The NFL knows it's not going to be cheap. Every single person out there knows it's not going to be cheap. However, where there's smoke, there's fire, and the amount of smoke and the amount of buzz. Like, guys, I'm telling you, my notes from Media Row, like the amount of NFL insiders that I talk to, the amount of Raiders players that I talk to, the amount of just, it's hard to wrap your mind around it unless you were there. It's just, there's so many people that you see on TV, talk shows, coaches, and everybody that I talk to, the amount of buzz around Jayden Daniels gives me that tingle feeling. It gives me the, holy shit, there's a lot of smoke. Is this going to turn into fire scenario? I know that Tom Telesco wants himself a big-name quarterback. He knows how important it is in the National Football League. And then Raiders players, they like Aidan O'Connell, but they know that he's not a starting NFL quarterback. So when I think about the fact that all of these things I heard over and over and over again at Media Row, and now it's being reiterated and regurgitated, a lot of smoke, a lot of fire, and I know the Raiders are interested in that number one overall pick. But here's the question. Why would the Raiders trade up to number one? Because there's a lot of people out there that are like, well, I'd rather just the Raiders trade up to number three. I'm with you. I would rather the Raiders just trade up to three if it's possible, and because I'm okay getting Drake May. I'm okay getting Caleb Williams. I'm okay getting Jayden Daniels. I would trade up to number three. But from what I understand, if Antonio Pierce and Tom Telesco think that the only way that they can guarantee the fact that they get Jaden, because Jaden's their guy, the only way that you can guarantee that is to go up to the number one overall pick. And the reason why a lot of this is starting to grow right now is because with the combine, scouting combine, February 29th to March 5th, right around the corner, if the Raiders make a deal, I'm a believer that it's going to be in that window, because that's usually when trades end up going down because teams want to do it before free agency, because what you don't want to do is have a quarterback plan you totally miss out on in the draft, and then you're in this, oh shit, what the hell do I do? You try to trade for him early. If it doesn't work, then you go to free agency, and so on and so forth. So coming up here is my updated Jayden Daniels to the Las Vegas Raiders timeline. One of the things that I have predicated myself on this offseason is trying to keep you guys up to date on why I believe Jaden is the Raiders guy, right? And there's been so many things that have happened over the past 6 weeks that if you missed it, it's okay. That's why I'm here. But once you see all these timeline things, you're going to be like, all right, yeah, shit, I think Jayden Daniels is their guy. To make sure that you never miss anything going on around the Raiders, to make sure you never miss anything going on around the NFL draft, trade rumors, hit that subscribe button. Mitch, why should I do it? You're going to get videos every day. I'm going to be live at least 4 days a week. When breaking news happens, I got you covered. And I've already illustrated what I believe the Raiders' plan at quarterback is. And I know the people that are watching the show live right now are like, Mitch, I've watched the video. I've seen it. I've heard you talk about it. I get it. But I also know a lot of people haven't. So if you want to see more content, and if you want to find out why we are the #1 most watched Raiders show in the entire world, subscribe. If you don't like what you see after a week, unsubscribe. It's 100% free. You have nothing to lose. So here is the Jayden Daniels to the Las Vegas timeline. This has been the timeline that I have been showing everyone. This is nothing new. Jayden Daniels at his Heisman speech mentions Antonio Pierce and Marvin Lewis. Once you know it, both on our roster now. He was in the Raiders locker room after their Week 18 win over the Broncos. That means a lot. Davante Adams speaks highly of Jaden. That's important because the Raiders want to make sure Davante is happy. Daniel says that he wants to be a Raider when he was talking to a Raider fan, posted on social media. Guess what? Antonio Pierce liked that picture of Jaden saying that he would be open to the idea of being a Raider. Here's the new things that have started to happen over the past, I'll call it, 2 to 3 weeks. The Raiders interviewed offensive coaches, okay? They're offensive coordinators. It was reported that when the Raiders interviewed these guys, they did it with Jayden Daniels in mind. So if you already know that they're interviewing people with Jaden in mind, there's probably a reason behind that. Then all of the chatter around NFL Media Day, and I'm not just talking from one person. I'm not just talking from 2 people. I'm talking numerous, multiple sources. Like, I sat down and I talked with Jeremy Fowler. Jeremy Fowler told me there's a lot of buzz going on right now around Jaden. I sat down and I talked to Tom Pelissero. Pelissero said a lot of buzz, a lot of chatter going on right now around Jayden Daniels. I talked to multiple Raiders players. One Raiders player told me that the Raiders are going to do everything possible to get Jaden. And when that happens, I am then allowed to tell you who told me that. The next one coming in, Tom Telesco. He's expected to be aggressive, report comes out. The reason why that one's interesting to me is because about a month ago, there was a report around Mark Davis saying that, like, he's willing to do whatever it takes in order to get a quarterback. So when you hear something like that, that they're willing to do whatever it takes to go get a quarterback, like, that should be a light bulb that goes off. Now there's the Tom Telesco report about him wanting to be aggressive. And again, like, all of this media day chatter, it just continues to add to the smoke around the Raiders wanting to go out and around the Raiders potentially looking and getting their guy, Jayden Daniels. You hired Antonio Pierce for a reason. You hired AP because he was, yeah, sure, a little bit different, but he's going to go get his guys. Jayden Daniels is one of his guys. And then there's the report of the Raiders are interested in the #1 overall pick. I said it 2 weeks ago. It was then reiterated about 4 or 5 days ago at this point, and it just keeps getting brought up and brought up and brought up again. There is so much smoke around this that I am starting to believe that, holy shit, it might actually happen. I'll tell you this right now. If the Raiders do end up trading for that #1 pick, we're going live and we're freaking rallying here on the Raiders Report. So if you want to see this happen, dream scenario, this is what I want to see happen, because to me, to fully paint the picture of, I'm going to sit up here and say, I 100% support Antonio Pierce. I 100% support the decision to hire AP as the guy. If I'm going to sit up here and say that, then this is what I have to support as well. And I want the Raiders to figure out a way to get Jaden. If you want the Raiders to go out, trade up, and get the LSU quarterback, the Heisman Trophy winner, click that like button right now. Coming up next here on the show, history suggests Tom Telesco is going to be aggressive and go get his quarterback. And if you're a history buff, this is probably one of the parts of a show that I am the most excited about because of all the cool information that I have. Before I get into the history, though, I got to tell you about our awesome sponsor, Panda Sups. And they just launched 2 brand new protein flavors, and they are unbelievably good. Like, I'm telling you right now, this is the best protein that I've ever had. If you got a sweet tooth, they're going to absolutely change the game for you. And on top of that, it's healthy. 30 grams of protein, 4 grams of carbs, 2 grams of sugar, 1 gram of fat, 150 calories, and it's multi-stage fast and slow-release protein. So they have the mint chocolate chip, which the reason why I love the mint chocolate chip, this is actually one of Jeremy's favorite. There is actual chunks of mint chocolate chip cookie in it. And I know it sounds weird to say, but until you try it, like, you're not going to believe it. And if anybody out there, not a sponsor, has Ninja Creamy, you buy this protein, you put it in a Ninja Creamy, I'm telling you right now, you're going to blow your freaking mind. And then there's this one, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I like to try to make protein pancakes. It's one of my things that I like to do. You get a nice little banana, you put a scoop of protein, get an egg in there, whisk it all up, get a little bit of oats. Protein pancake, unbelievable. If you want to try it, that link's available to y'all down in the comments and in the description. Pandasups.com. Code Raiders for 20% off. So So since we're talking about these two flavors here, and they are new by Panda, if you had to pick, which one would you go with? Cinnamon Toast Crunch, type CT, or would you go with Mint Chocolate Chip? I want you to type MC. The way that I would answer this, and this is the God honest truth, if it's the summertime, I'm going Mint Chocolate Chip. That's like one of my favorite things to do in the summer. If it's winter, fall, and I want that, I'm going to go with the cinnamon. Panda Subs has a bunch of flavors. I want you to go try them out. I promise you it's going to be the best protein you've ever had. All right, so right now here, history suggests that Tom Telesco will be aggressive at the quarterback position, and I promise you, after you get done watching this video, you're going to be like, holy shit, the Raiders are going to trade up and take a quarterback in the 2024 NFL Draft. The reason why I'm saying all this is because I expect Telesco to be aggressive because that's what every team he's been on has done. Like, think about, I don't know, if you're raising a kid, the kid's probably going to act like you because you were the parent. This, to me, is one of those things where if you come from certain coaching trees, you learn certain things, and if it's worked everywhere you've gone, why would you go away from it? And it's probably one of the things that Telesco got the job for. Like, I am confident, I know for a fact, that the biggest reason why Telesco got the job, outside of his previous GM experience, and, you know, Mark Davis didn't want to pair a first-time head coach, first-time GM, one of the reasons it was, and it's been very well documented and reported, Telesco gave the best presentation of, hey, we're going to go get ourselves a big-name quarterback. And that's one of the reasons why he got a job. Plus, the 4 teams that he's worked on before always got their quarterback. So he was an intern with the Buffalo Bills back from 1991 to 94. In that time span that he was with Buffalo, he was, again, only a front office intern, but this is where he got his foot in. Like, this is where he started to learn. And he got success right away. Jim Kelly was the Bills quarterback during Telesco's time in Buffalo. They went to 4 straight Super Bowls with Kelly. Now, he was drafted in 1983, first-round quarterback, number 14 overall, but he saw firsthand, up close and personal, they had a quarterback, they could go out there and they could compete. Let's go to his next job then, the Carolina Panthers from 95 to 96. So for those of you that don't remember, because I was young at this time, this is when the Carolina Panthers, they were an expansion team, and he followed Bill Polian, who was his mentor, and when you hear Telesco talk, the way he talks is the same thought process that Polian thought as well. Carolina picked Kerry Collins number 1 overall in the 1995 NFL Draft. Sure, they went 7-9 in year 1, but then they ended up going 12-4 in the second year, and they went to the NFC Championship game in year 2. So if you're, again, looking at that, you go, all right, well, it worked in Buffalo, it worked in Carolina. Well, would it work again in Indy? Guess what? It did work again in Indy, because then he followed Polian to the Indianapolis Colts, where he was there from 1998 to 2012, and guess what? The Colts, they picked Peyton Manning, number 1 overall in 1998. That worked out pretty well. Peyton Manning leaves, and then guess what? Indy picks Andrew Luck, number 1 overall in 2012. So we're already talking about, in a short amount of time, 3 quarterbacks going off the board, number 1 overall, that Tom Telesco was at least a part of that organization that was a part of it. So 3 for 3, right? Well, let's go to the Chargers now, because the Chargers is the one that's a little bit different, but maybe it's the one that's the most important because he was the NFL GM. He was the one calling the majority of the shots. And when he took over for the GM role in 2013, remember, Phillip Rivers was there, and he was there for a long time, coming off some of his best years with the Chargers. But guess what? The very, very first year that Phillip Rivers leaves the San Diego Chargers at the time, he gets an opportunity to go get his quarterback. What does he do? He takes his quarterback, Justin Herbert, 6th overall. So every single time Tom Telesco has had that opportunity to take that quarterback, he knows how important it is. So when you hear all of that history, it's why I believe that the Raiders are going to be aggressive and they're going to go get a quarterback. And I believe it's going to be Jayden Daniels. So after hearing all that history, after seeing all of that, what would be your one-word reaction to Tom Telesco's quarterback history? Is it interesting? Is it LFG? I want to know for what you guys have to say, because I do believe that the reason why Telesco ended up getting this job is because he was able to paint the picture of, hey, I did it before, we're going to do it again, we're going to get ourselves a franchise quarterback here for the Las Vegas Raiders, because it's the only way you can legitimately compete in the NFL on a yearly basis to get that ultimate goal, the Lombardi Trophy. So trading up should not be a surprise to anybody. Like, is it still going to be difficult to do? Yes, Absolutely. Like, I'm not sitting up here saying that, oh, the Raiders are going to make it happen. It's going to cost an arm and a leg and potentially some other extremity that you might want. But with Tom Telesco's history, plus Antonio Pierce and Marvin Lewis's relationship with Jayden Daniels, is why I am becoming more and more ready, more and more confident the moment I go live on this show and I say the Las Vegas Raiders are trading up to the number 1 overall pick and they're going to take Jayden Daniels.